Hello, my name is Rawson Thomas, and today I will be talking to you guys about the COVID-19 pandemic and how it affected the entire world. So to start it all off with COVID's origin, COVID-19 is also known as the coronavirus disease, and it was first discovered in Wuhan, China in 2019. I remember this very well as a kid, in I think my junior year of high school. It was being talked about all over the news. People were making memes about it on social media a lot, kind of like making memes about China and their coronavirus diseases. And then we ended up getting hit for the first case of coronavirus. We ended up getting hit for the first time on January 2020. It's compared to a lot to like the flu and pneumonia. People even believe it to be another strand of the flu at some point. There's a lot of debate and theories going on about that. The symptoms of COVID-19 include you get a loss of taste, smell. You start to have respiratory system failures. For me, when I caught COVID, it was more like I developed like this very big sensitivity to light. My eyes hurt a lot when I was looking at light. For people like me, for people who are normally and generally very healthy, when you get COVID, the symptoms and the sickness last for about up to like 2 weeks. And like I said, most of the time you will feel a little sick probably the first 2 days or so of it, but after that you really just have your loss of taste and smell and whatnot. But for people that have, a little pre-existing conditions, things like bronchitis or respiratory disease they have themselves, or even asthma, things that make it hard for us to breathe or hard for our immune systems to fight back. These people, when they get COVID, for them could last for months. It could leave, lifelong effects, and it could even lead to death. So it's for most healthy people in America, it's very easy to just hit it and then go on. But for a lot of people, it's very, very dangerous. And again, it caused a lot of changes in society because of the high death rates it was just piling up so fast. And it was, for one, it's one of the most easily spread viruses. Just being around a store while having COVID can have that virus spread throughout the entire store by people walking by, touching it, whatnot. My school ended up shutting down after the first semester of my junior year. They say the 3/4 of my second semester of my junior year were just online. At first, we were told we were going to be out of school for 2 weeks just in case, and then we ended up staying out of school. The entire country was in quarantine. I mean, this whole staying home and stuff lasted into my senior year when I even transferred schools. I wasn't even able to go to my new school. I went there for basketball, but, I wasn't even a student there, really. I was just at home online doing Zooms. A lot of businesses that I knew around my house, like little small delis and stuff, those random businesses shut down because people weren't coming in and ordering. People were more or less going to Walmart whenever they actually needed to get eggs and supply and stay home, and try their best not to leave the house. And because of that, a lot of jobs were lost in America. And then, of course, the vaccines came out. And because of that, some states, mandated vaccines, and it was like you needed to have a vaccine in order to do this and to do that, and to come back to work, you need to have a vaccine. I have friends who are in some of their schools, family friends from like other schools in other states, and they're like, we had to have COVID vaccines in order to come to school. And even last till now, some colleges around the country, you need to be vaccinated in order to end up going to that college and becoming a student there. And it affected me in a very big personal level because, my father, who had bronchitis, which was like, of course, whenever you get sick with bronchitis, whenever you get sick, it's just always hard for you. You have a harder time breathing. Your mucus builds up in your lungs a lot. Your respiratory system has a hard time fighting back. You just get really sick whenever you are. And my dad, traveling to Miami for work, of course, at a high risk of catching COVID, and he finally got it one day and brought it back to the house. And, we ended up all catching it. And my dad became very, very sick. And before even becoming sick, my dad was very strict with the rules of COVID. He didn't let me and my brother go to see our friends. I couldn't see my girlfriend. We couldn't do anything. Only time we could leave the house is when we needed to go shopping for the family. Other than that, we weren't allowed to outside the house. and then ironically he ended up catching COVID and going to Miami, and after that time, that kind of passed. I was around, I think, somewhat summer going into my senior year or around there, or I think it was at the beginning of my senior year. But my basketball season, my senior year, my last year, was cut so short because a kid from my team ended up catching COVID and giving it to our other team, so we ended up missing the playoffs in states, and we were number 3 in the state, and it was really heartbreaking. It was just like, wow, like, you know what I mean, like, all that greatness I was finally gonna get my first. I could have gotten my first ring, maybe cut short because of COVID. It sucked, but you know, it was kind of, you know, we move on from that. But yeah, COVID affected everyone on personal levels. You know, whether or not you had a family that died, you didn't get to see your friends, or you know, you have friends whose family members were dying. Someone, some way, everyone, some way was affected by COVID. Money loss, losing their job, having their business fail. So COVID was a very big pandemic that hit the world. It tanked the world economy. You know, it was very hard times for everyone. But I'm very happy that we were able to get through it and to persevere as America to, you know, keeping the country as great as it is.